Hello, friends. Thanks for joining us for another of our weekly journeys down Timeshare Lane. We're going to cover the most interesting topics of week 44, 2025. Appreciate each and every one of you joining me this Tuesday evening as we chat about eh, just what we're going to go over this week. It's going to be the four best topics, most interesting topics of the week. Starting with our wonderful announcement. I know I hinted about this a few weeks ago, but we are finally going to move forward with the biggest giveaway the Timeshare Users Group has ever had in its entire history. We are giving away 32 free memberships to Tug to celebrate our 32nd anniversary. And we're giving away one each and every day for the next 32 days. Actually started a couple days ago. So I think we're down to 29 at this point, 29 more days of giveaways. But each and every person who likes the post on our Facebook page, member of our Facebook group, or as a subscriber to our YouTube channel, which we're looking at right here, is automatically entered to win. And I pick these numbers at random. I basically take all of our subscribers and all of the people who like to post, put it into a random number generator, and that's how I pick up the number one, the winners each and every week. So we are giving away 32 each and individual memberships to Tug. If you're an existing member, you get a 1-year renewal added onto your membership. If you're not a Tug member, you get a free 1-year membership to Tug. Absolutely no charge, no credit card needed, nothing required. We take care of this. This is our way of giving back to the timeshare community because we have survived for 32 years now as an owner-driven site. The community drives the site, fills the site, makes the site what it is today. And if we can continue to give back to that community, it's the best advertising we can have to share Tug with more and more owners out there who are watching our videos and sharing our videos on YouTube, social media, who are liking our posts and sharing our posts on Facebook. And most importantly, when you see people asking timeshare questions, to post a link to Tug or mention that they go visit Tug. That is how we get the vast majority of the traffic to the site, especially members who see other timeshare owners referring and suggesting Tug. That kind of advertising just it's where it is. There, we just can't buy that sort of thing. An owner referring another owner is the absolute best honor that we can have in the timeshare industry, and we're so certainly happy that the thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of owners who have found Tug over the years have probably shared that information with tens of thousands of other owners who have gone on to share that information with tens of thousands of other owners. It's a wonderful little butterfly effect that most owners probably don't even realize it's happening, but we're here to thank each and every one of them personally, and we will continue to give away these wonderful free memberships to Tug for as long as I'm around. It's a great way to give back to the community that has done so much to build Tug and create Tug where it is today. So, hey, Billy, thanks for joining in. I appreciate you tuning in for another Tuesday. 32 years. Yep, it is. It's absolutely wild. There are very, very few websites out there that can celebrate a 32nd birthday. It is pretty incredible when you think what the internet existed like in the early 90s and in 1993. It predates Google. It predates Travelocity. It creates any of the travel sites that we know about today that we just kind of take for granted. So to have this resource in the 90s, to know about Tug for that long, there aren't that many owners that were there at that time, but it has grown for the past 32 years into the number one source of timeshare information on the internet. And we're hoping that 32 more will reach hundreds of thousands of more owners and get the word out about the information that people need to know to make an educated and informed decision. Our little community does its part to provide that information free of charge to ensure that anyone who attends a timeshare sales presentation or is pitched a scam or whether it's an exit scam, a resale scam, a trade-in scam that we're talking about in a little bit, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're told something that sounds too good to be true or sounds like an amazing deal, chances are in this industry it probably isn't. So getting the truth and getting that information before you sign on the dotted line or before you send any money is truly where Tug shines, and giving that information. And unfortunately, far too many owners find us after that's taken place, and there's very little good options that you have after that time period is expired. But for each and every one that we catch before they're able to be scammed or ripped off like that, we're very thankful. And again, the more owners that share Tug on the internet and the more owners that know about Tug, will be able to get that information prior to just believing what someone is telling them over the phone or during a sales presentation. So yep, 32 years, truly an incredible milestone. And again, we are giving away 32 free membership, 32, one for every year that we've been in operation, and we're giving away one each and every day. Started a couple days ago, so for the next 29 days, I will announce those winners, and I'm picking them from the Facebook group, Tug Facebook group, as well as YouTube subscribers to this channel. And I'm going to throw in some forum members because the forum is truly the most active part of Tug, where owners get together and share and just help each other. So I would be remiss in not counting those forum members. and in the giveaway because they're a huge part of the timeshare community, and those people are there 24 hours a day just answering questions, at absolutely no charge. Those people out there helping owners, sharing the information that they themselves probably got years ago when they were newbies and found Tug looking for help, and someone was kind enough to hold their hand and walk them through or give them the blunt advice. We do get that a lot. In fact, that some of the information and the truth that we provide on Tug is not what owners want to hear, and that's why we kind of live in our own little space. Unfortunately, when you have an entire industry saying, yelling one thing, and you have a website over here saying another, it's very, very difficult for many people to believe the actual truth that exists out there. But for each and every owner that finds Tug, we pretty much guarantee that they are very, very thankful of the information provided on Tug, and are extremely thankful for the other owners that either told them about Tug, how they found it, or took some time out of their day to give them some free advice or answer their question, so that they can make an educated and informed decision, and hopefully save themselves thousands and thousands of dollars. So good evening for Disney Strings. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're having a wonderful vacation in Disney. I think I mentioned on the forums, the weather here in Florida this week is an absolutely spectacular. Halloween trick-or-treating. Hopefully all of you got to spend wonderful times with your children or grandchildren. I will say I'm sharing my Halloween. This is a single bag. I wanted to point this out. One resident in our neighborhood made out over 100 of these 1-gallon bags just slap full of full-size candy, giving them out to one to each child that trick-or-treated at his house. It's the most insane thing. He did it last year and ran out of bags, and so he bought even more this year, and he wheeled them out in giant carts. It's truly something to behold. Like the look on my kid's face when we pulled up and they saw that he just handed him this big giant gallon, and here I am pilfering it. Dad tax is a real thing for those of y'all that didn't know it. So I'm happy to steal my kids' candy because they got so much of it. But that was just a wild thing. That gentleman is going to live forever in the hearts and minds of so many children for giving out what's got to be $30 worth of candy, if not more, to each and every kid who walked to his door. So way better weather down here in Florida than back home in Ontario, where snow is forecasted for the next week. Yeah, no, I don't do snow, not at all. That's why I live in Florida. I love Florida. Snow and I just don't get along. So I'm happy to it's the weather's getting in the 40s in the morning and at night, usually 50s though, but the fact that it's in the mid 70s during the day and super sunny and a wonderful breeze and not a cloud in the sky, the Florida weather has been absolutely spectacular. So anyone who's here in Florida, whether Daytona Beach or Orlando, water might be a little chilly if you're trying to go in there, but you just can't beat this weather if you're going to Disney. So neither do we. That's why we winter in the South now. Yeah, I summer in the South too, because I can deal with the heat. I can't deal with the cold. It's not my cup of tea. I will survive through the 2 weeks of winter that we have here in Florida, where it gets unbearably cold. And I say unbearably, it's a relative term. Unbearably in Florida is like almost freezing. It's rare that we actually get below freezing, but no, I'm here. Great weather. Agreed. Yeah, no, Orlando's got to be spectacular. If you pick this week to go to Disney or any of the theme parks, you are absolutely rewarded with some of the most beautiful. I don't think we've had rain in the entire week, and it's not forecast, and just a beautiful week for vacationing in Florida. So moving along. So again, thanks to happy 32 birthday, 32nd 32 birthday. Give me a break. Happy 32nd birthday to Tug. And for those of you who haven't entered the contest, there is a link below in the description, in the comment section of this video. You can click on it. Make sure you like the Facebook post again, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you're automatically entered to win. I will back subscribe to each and every YouTube winner that gets it, so that way you'll know you won. I also announce it in the post that'll be on here, so you can keep track of it. So I hope each and every one of the 32 winners so far, one of them has been, we're giving away 2. I'll do the other one tonight. One of them has been an existing member, one has been a brand new member, but each and every one of them, good luck in the drawing. And I hope you truly enjoy a free year's membership to Tug, and take that and share that with as many other timeshare owners as you can. They will absolutely thank you for it. I guarantee it. So going on to topic number 2, it's scams. If there's something about the industry that, if you say the word timeshare, it's the scam is almost probably 9 out of 10 people that will be the first word association. And then this, we think it's just in North America. We think it's just in over on this side of the pond, but it's very prevalent all over the world, it seems. Here's a story from the BBC that basically laid out, investigated, went undercover, got recordings of, which is wild, what is essentially a scam that targeted the elderly. I want to say there was a comment on it that says, yes, most were aged between 60 and 80. More than 500 of them lost over 10,000 pounds, and one handed over more than 80,000 pounds. Uh, the overall scheme was that these people were trying to get out of their timeshare, and this common theme. We get that a lot. And they were engaged by this outfit. It didn't really say how they uh, got in touch with them, so I'm guessing it was either direct mail or phone call or something, where they were brought into a presentation. It appears they had to pay to come to the presentation, which is just wild to me. So that's red flag number one. You had to pay up front to just schedule a meeting with these guys. But I'm guessing that the pitch was along the lines of, "Hey, we can get you out of your timeshare, or we can provide you a solution to exit your timeshare." Something like that would easily convince someone desperate to get rid of a timeshare to attend that meeting, even if they had to pay $50 or $100. It didn't really say how much it was, but it turns out the overall pitch was, quote unquote, "We are going to get you out of your timeshare if you purchase this, pass or this membership into this travel club or these fake credits." Basically, it was a similar, like a trade up scheme. We're getting rid of your old timeshare and you're buying into this new system, but you will get, yeah. You're absolutely right. Sounds like a capital vacations selling presentation. You're not wrong. These tactics are extremely effective, and that's why they're used throughout the industry. Creating fear of missing out. Creating you need to buy this right now, or creating a situation, a completely fake situation where you would be foolish not to take them up on their offer. So generating this, they already know the people are desperate to sell their timeshare. They wouldn't be engaging. They certainly wouldn't be paying to attend the presentation. So dangling that carrot with hey, you're going to be out of your timeshare free and clear. You just upgrade to this, buy into this program. We take over your timeshare. We get rid of your timeshare, whatever it happens to be, and you're free and clear. And unfortunately, what wound up being is these people are paying to quote unquote upgrade or convert or whatever the pitch happened to be. And not only did they give this money away, thousands of dollars to quote unquote upgrade or trade in their timeshare, but they just didn't do anything with the timeshare at all. They just collected the money and just did nothing else. Now they're in this club that is completely bogus and not offering any sort of useful information, but they still own their timeshare. So again, the scams in this industry all operate under the same fashion. The story may change, meaning what they're telling you and how they're pitching it to you of that extremely detailed and specific answer to your prayers. You are looking for a way out of your timeshare. I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to make it so elaborate and so absolutely perfect, gift from the gods. Everything you want to hear, I'm going to tell it to you right before I bring out the stick, where you have to pay me money to have this yarn I'm spinning come to fruition. It's all complete nonsense. It's all complete garbage. They can say whatever they want because they know they're trying to scam you right off the bat. They're not trying to sell you something. They're not trying to convince you to buy into their system, or they're not trying to convince you to buy a product that they have to fulfill. They know they're scamming you, so they can say whatever they want to say. Yes, absolutely. It comes with a free puppy. Yes, absolutely. We'll pay off your mortgage too. Yes, absolutely. It comes with free life insurance, or we'll send your kids a gift basket. It doesn't matter what they say because they're not having to fulfill the promise. They're lying to you from the start. So they will say whatever it is you want to hear. And for these customers that are desperate to get out of their timeshare, it is, hey, we do this all the time. We cancel your timeshares all the time. We can certainly take care of what you have. Doesn't matter if you owe, doesn't matter how long you've owned, doesn't matter what it is. We'll take care of it. Sign on this dotted line, fork over $4,000 or whatever the amount happens to be, and you're out of your timeshare. Not only that, but you get this awesome free program, and you get into this membership program where you get to use our credits to take future vacations. So you get out of your timeshare, but you still get to vacation. So again, all of this sounds like exactly what you want to hear. Most importantly, you're getting out of your timeshare for good. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And for so many people, that is worth paying hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for. And it's not just limited to the United States. So this company was called Sell My Timeshare. Very, very similar to the name of a company here in the United States, but different. But the story is still the same. This particular investigator, reached out to them and tried to get them to interview and tried to get their questions, and they basically stuck to their guns and mentioned that we're still legitimate, no problem. And then they mentioned that they actually had a recording of the presentation, and at that point they clammed up, and the investigation was on, handed over those recordings to whatever law enforcement agency exists in England to take care of that. But just can't stress enough that how many, which is 100% all of the timeshare scams, every single one of them rely on giving you an amazing pitch, all for you to pay money up front. And oddly enough, that's exactly how timeshare sales presentations work as well. They are going to tell you what you want to hear. They are going to tell you what you need to hear in order to sign on the bottom line and purchase whatever they're selling. And in this case, these companies are selling scams. So not limited to the United States, not limited to North America. It is a global phenomenon. And this particular company, I want to say it was what, $30 million they were mentioning that. And again, what was the other? Took people's money to fund their lavish lifestyle, private schools, millionaire mansions, private jets. They're just raking in millions, lying to people and scamming them. And these are small fish in the pond that is the timeshare scam industry. So again, number one rule on Tug has been the 32 years: never, ever, ever pay a large upfront fee to do anything with your timeshare. Don't pay upfront to sell your timeshare. Don't pay upfront to rent your timeshare. Don't pay upfront to exchange your timeshare. Don't pay upfront to cancel your timeshare. Don't pay upfront to exit your timeshare. I don't care what the pitch is. If it sounds amazing and they're asking you to pay upfront, it's going to result in you losing money. Now, if you want to test the theory and you say, hey, Brian, you're just a random guy on the internet saying the same thing, even though I've been saying it for 20 years now, offer double. Offer to pay them double after the sale. Offer to pay them triple after they come through with whatever it is they're promising you, and just wait for these excuses to fly. It just I can't stress enough that all 100% of the scams that target you are designed to get you to let your guard down, to tell you what you want to hear, and get you to send money. And once that money's gone, and once you send that money, it's absolutely gone. You're just not going to get it back. So to avoid every single scam, you will avoid 100%. And I'm not even exaggerating. 100% of the scams you can avoid by following the rule of never, ever, ever paying a company a large upfront fee to do anything with your timeshare. It will protect you from 100% of the scams. There's not one out there that can get you if you follow that rule. I can't stress enough. I will continue till on my deathbed to say that is the number one message. If I could get that in front of every single timeshare owner, if I shook every single timeshare owner's hand, that would exactly want to say, hi, nice to meet you, John Smith. Never pay a large upfront fee to get rid of your timeshare. Hi, Jane Doe. Never pay a large upfront fee to rent your timeshare. Period. That is the industry itself would be turned on its head overnight if that rule were common knowledge, and so just can't stress enough at how we continue to report these scams, because again, I know it sounds like we're emptying a swimming pool with a teaspoon, and in reality we probably are. But hey, maybe there were probably 1,000 people that 1,000 new people that saw this post when it came in the newsletter, and there are probably 100 more that'll watch this YouTube, the recap of our live. There's a dozen of you online right now. There will probably be hundreds more when I cut this into a short video and publish it to YouTube that'll see this, and hopefully that message will resonate. If they are a timeshare owner, they're eventually going to be approached by a scam, whether it's an exit scam, a rental scam, an exchange scam, trade-in scam, whatever it happens to be. If you are a timeshare owner, the chances are extremely high that you are going to be approached, if not actively engaged with a scam. And if you can remember those words, never pay a large upfront fee, it's the biggest red flag that exists out there. I'm hoping that even if it saves one person, I'll continue to say this each and every week till the day I die. Because again, the more that message gets out, the more I see, and I'm super happy to see it on Facebook. All the Facebook groups is when someone posts what is an obvious scam and they're still on the fence, or they're kind of skeptical, but they really want to believe it's true. I see so many people that point out, hey, upfront fee scam. Don't do this. It's a scam. And it actually warms my heart, and just absolutely keeping me warm here in the frozen tundra that is North Florida right now. There's so many owners are continuing to spread this message, just like Tug is, to warn people against these scams, hopefully before they throw money away. And if that becomes common knowledge, then again, we can change this industry just by that single facet being common knowledge throughout the industry. If every owner followed that rule, I can't even picture what the industry would look like in terms of scams and how they target owners moving forward. So. Hey, Jeremy, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Got Destination Timeshare. Be sure to check out his channel. He's super awesome. Got some great timeshare content on there if you're looking for information on Marriott and stuff like Capital Vacation. Capital Vacation still calls daily, and I gave away my timeshare they manage. Yeah. The lists, once you get on a list for people to call you, it's hard to get off. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. Those lists are sold by countless entities out there, most of them not reputable. So once you get on one of these, timeshare owner lists, you will just continue to be called. Those lists just keep getting passed around from entity to entity. It's all about numbers. I mean, even if my success rate in getting a hold of someone or in scamming someone would be, just 1%, if I make 100,000 calls, well, I mean, that's a hefty return on investment. So all about the numbers game to them. So the more numbers they can get, if they're working numbers, and even if you aren't a timeshare owner anymore, it really doesn't matter to them. They're just playing the numbers game, because a small percentage of those numbers in those lists that they buy are going to be active owners, and a percentage of those are going to be owners that are looking to get rid of a timeshare. So block, block, block. Yeah, we talked about just last week on a great way to tie up these scammers' time is to we can't block every number. The spam filter does work pretty well on my phone, but if you get one that managed to get through, a lot of them, especially one was mentioned earlier, that they spoof the numbers. They spoof it for a local number. So you got a local number. Well, many times I'll try and answer it just because could be my kid or someone from school or something like that. And so these people are more and more creative and able to look like they're calling from a local exchange. And if that happens, and you can always tell, because for me, I get a little click when the phone starts, when the call starts, just kind of a little click and a delay in which someone starts talking, and that immediately triggers that's 100% a scammer. So for that, I'll be like, hey, absolutely, this is great. I'm glad you called. I was just looking at something like this online. Give me 1 second to get to a more comfortable position, or give me 1 second to get to my computer, and then just set the phone down and go about your day. They'll sit on there for a couple minutes thinking that, they've got someone on the line. It's worth their time. And if it's 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, they wait. I doubt they wait that long, but hey, they're not calling somebody else. So you're doing your part in wasting their time and hope that they will not scam another timeshare owner who might not be as knowledgeable as you are to be able to detect this as a scam. So, hey, Vol, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Claire, awesome. We got the regulars on tonight for another Timeshare Tuesday. Perhaps y'all are watching this while you're watching election updates. I'm not going to get into political stuff here, but I'm sure it's probably on the forefront of people's minds. So if you come chat about timesharing while you're watching, the votes come in for various elections across the country, then hey, at least get out and vote. I don't care who you vote for, as long as I'm super happy that people are at least engaged on what's going on in this day and age. So moving on to item number 3, we have another, and this one actually is a timeshare this time. Another new announcement for a Hilton Grand Vacations Club property in Myrtle Beach. Looks like this particular property is going to be right next to Ocean 22. So maybe they'll call it Ocean 23. I think someone mentioned that. Probably just be another phase of Ocean 22. I don't know if it's going to be a new property, but looks like $230 million will be 253 feet tall, and we'll have 227 timeshare units. So I don't know how many floors 253 feet is. I'm not going to count them all, but it looks like maybe 20 floors or so. In my public school math, somebody can count that. Feel free. Looks like a nice place. However, I'm sure the people that live across the street from there or live next to it are probably not going to be happy to see it. Almost 300-foot tall building go up right there on the beach, but is what it is. I'm sure if we go back 30 or 40 years, just about every beach looked way different than it does today, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon. Shared screen isn't changing. Thank you so much, because that is a great tip. Thank you very much. So how about that? There we go. So I'm looking. How about that? That is the new, or at least a rendering of the new Hilton Grand Vacations Club in Myrtle Beach that is literally going on the property of Ocean 22. So whatever they call it, I'm sure will come out. But again, 253 feet tall, 227 timeshare units. So I'm sure Hilton owners will be nice to be happy that there will be a lot more inventory in Myrtle Beach than Ocean 22. I think there's a couple more in Myrtle Beach as well. The Marriott has a couple properties there. So more timeshares, not a bad thing. It is kind of an overbuilt area, but it is an extremely popular area. If they didn't think they could fill those rooms, or more importantly, if they didn't think they could sell those rooms, they certainly wouldn't build, spend, what was it cost? $230 million. Wouldn't have been able to get financing for $230 million bucks to build that. If you build it, they will come. So I have no doubt the Hilton Grand Vacations Club, especially with, Diamond Resorts or Hilton Vacation Club being able to say, hey, look what we're buying. And with HGV Max, you can trade into it. They'll be able to use this as a selling point for future sales presentations and a beautiful new property being built in Myrtle Beach. So we will continue to update this as it gets on, but it looks like that isn't going to come into play until, did it say? I would imagine that's probably years out. I don't remember how long it said that it was going to take to build that, but I would not expect something like that till 2027 or probably 2028. Last topic we are going to discuss today is, and I'm going to share my tab. Thanks for the tip, Jeremy. Appreciate you. The best timeshare sales presentation ever. And this is actually fantastic. This person is staying at Grand Chateau, a beautiful resort in Las Vegas. They really want, and there's one thing they want on their vacation, is go to the Wizard of Oz show in the Sphere. And I have to say, if I ever get back to Vegas, the Sphere is probably the top of my list for things to go to. I would imagine seeing original Wizard of Oz, remastered and such in the Sphere has got to be a pretty wild experience. But these particular people wanted to do that. They said they were quoted $350 for good seats, and then offered a sales presentation for the tickets. So it seemed like a win-win. I'll give up 90 minutes of my time to get free tickets to the show I want to go to, or I really, really was at the top of my list to go to Vegas. They were given that, and the best part is they showed up at 8:45 a.m., got their free coffee, probably some snacks that are there, and then were told that they were overbooked and didn't have to attend the timeshare sales presentation in the first place. So they essentially got free tickets to go to the Sphere and see Wizard of Oz. They got some free coffee and free breakfast, and their sales presentation was canceled. So that is, I don't know how many win-wins we get in the industry, but if I were an owner, that's something I would call a win-win. Other than the fact that you had to wake up at 8:45 in the morning and go get some free coffee, to trade that for the nice tickets that they wanted to go to the Sphere and see Wizard of Oz. Nah, that's a no-brainer. I'm sure they seemed extremely heartbroken and all broken up over the fact that they weren't able to attend a sales presentation to hear what Marriott was pitching that particular day. I will say that I've stayed at Grand Chateau, and it's one of the last timeshare sales presentations I've attended, and I will say the salesman was fantastic. All of the stuff we get, timeshare salesmen get a bad rap, and deservedly so in most cases. I will say that this individual, I was upfront with who I was and what I did. He was fantastic. We chatted for 30, 45 minutes or so about time sharing and resale and his job, and he clearly wasn't trying to sell me, but did want to talk about it and didn't want to go back and forth and talk about timeshare customers' perspective and how he sells. And I was truly impressed. I was expecting, I guess once, I try to be upfront with people. I don't want to go in there, pretend to be undercover. That's just, I don't want to waste my time or theirs. So, I was very, very clear at the start of who I was and what I did, and they still scheduled the presentation and let me do it without my wife. So that was the one reason I attended. I was upfront with the salesman up front, the salesman right off the bat. He was very clear that, hey, we started this, we got to at least chat for a bit, and was super serious, super interested about Tug, wanted to learn about it. Again, it could have been him just being salesman-y, but I didn't get that impression. And as far as I'm concerned, if that's the way he conducts all of his sales presentations and he's still able to sell, good on him. He must be a fantastic salesman, because again, anyone who knows about resale, even on the Marriott side, buying resale, you're not going to save 100% like you can in other systems, but you still save many, many thousands of dollars buying resale, and still enjoy the wonderful product that is Marriott Timeshare. Well, if all sales pitches are like that, I would tend, me too. I mean, if I could, I would genuinely, just like they said, if you give me, almost $400 tickets to go see something I want to go see at the Sphere or wherever it happened to be, I'd probably, give up 90 minutes of my time. We'll try going solo. Wish me luck. I have not had success since that, and this is many, many years ago. For whenever I go, and it's actually been a way to get out of sales presentations. So the last 3 or 4 I've attended, most recently was Holiday Inn in Orange Lake. They send me over to the concierge desk after check-in and go to schedule the presentation. And I'm like, hey, I would love to sit through it. I'm interested in your program. I would like to learn about it. I do consumer advocacy stuff on the side, and I would truly be interested in sitting down with one of your salesmen and chatting about this product. And my only caveat is that my wife and children are not. They're not here to sit through a sales presentation. They're not here to waste 90 minutes or even 30 minutes of their time. They're here for vacation. They want to go to the pool. They want to go play on the slides. They want to go to the lazy river. If I can go by myself, happy to attend. Unfortunately, the last 3 trips I've been to, or even 4 now, their rule is that your spouse has to attend. If you're here with your spouse, she has to go. Well, my answer is okay. Well, that's your rule, not mine. I'm sitting here, I'm ready. I'm willing to schedule whenever you want me to attend that presentation. My wife is just not going, and nor are my kids. And they really don't have a comeback to that. Their answer is, well, you can't without. Okay, well, I guess I can't. You're telling me no. I'm not telling you no. So, make it happen. You want to schedule this presentation? Schedule the presentation. I'm ready. When can we go? I'm not telling you no. You're telling me that requirement is my wife to attend. I'm sorry. That's not my cup of tea. So, I have one timeshare that still does owner meetings. I enjoy the free dinner and excursion they offer each year and never upgrade. I mean, they know that, a vast majority of people who attend these are not going to buy. It's not going to be a sale. I think we saw the statistics that we posted a few weeks back in the Talking Timeshare episode of, what was it, 12%, 15%, something like that is considered a relatively good conversion rate for tours. So, that's, 1.5 out of every 10 people are saying yes. That means, almost 8 out of 10 people, almost 9 out of 10 people are saying no. So attending these, the salesperson truly has to know that they are going to be rejected the vast majority of the time. So I don't see any downside into attending a sales presentation, especially since they're asking with no intention to buy, as long as you're willing to listen. I'm willing to listen to your pitch. I want to learn. However, if you're just going to lie to me, I've never, still haven't yet to encounter someone who tried to mislead me. And one thing I really want to go to is one of these exit company presentations, but they are very, very strict about the no spouse rule. And I'm not willing to lie to go to their presentation. But Grande Vista in October could not attend without a spouse. Easy out. It was same. I stayed at Harbor Lake. Checked in, went to the desk. I was like, "Ma'am, I'm happy to attend your sales presentation. My kids aren't going. They're here to enjoy their vacation. This is their summer break. You want to pitch me? Pitch me. I'm happy to schedule anytime you want, but my wife and kids are going, and here's your room key, sir. Have a nice day." And that's worked, for me it's a win-win for me. Either one, I don't have to argue with anyone and I'm sped out to my room and through this process, or two, I get to schedule a sales presentation, go by myself and actually learn something, actually get to sit with a salesman and be upfront with who I am and what I do and what Tug is and see what they have to say. I do imagine that what I would be pitched at a sales presentation, once they know that information, is probably going to be a different than if my mother were to attend or a random timeshare owner. But it is what it is. I still think we could have, I still go back to that Grand Chateau salesman where I genuinely enjoyed the repartee that we had between each other. It was engaging. It was informative. The gentleman clearly knew the product, wasn't pushy, didn't give off the air of like he was annoyed that I clearly wasn't going to buy from him. So hopefully he's still a salesman. Hopefully he's still engaged in Marriott, because those salesmen that do it right and do it without intentionally lying to people or kind of bordering on that line of lying or misleading to them, there's a special place in hell for those people. I have no sympathy for them whatsoever. If that's what you have to do to make a living, I understand embellishing your product. You clearly have to sell it, but when you cross that line of maybe what you said wasn't truly a lie, but the way you said it, you knew full well that how it was going to be interpreted was a complete lie. Yeah, no, I got no time for that. I got no sympathy for that whatsoever. I like that angle. Try that. Absolutely, it works every single time. I'm just expressing interest. Hey, I want to go. I'm ready to sign up. I will go anytime you want. Just my wife and kids are not going. They're here on vacation. They can't. I came for vacation, but I'm willing to sit through your spiel and listen to what you have to say. My wife and kids aren't. They're off limits. You show me what law exists unless I'm on a promo tour, which I haven't been on in forever, where that could be enforced. But just to check in a regular owner, no, there's no rule on that. There's nothing in your membership that says you and your spouse have to go to a sales presentation. So easy, non-confrontational out, because again, it's on them. You're setting that rule that I can't attend. I'm not setting that rule. Took my extended family to Universal and Disney 3 years ago by attending 3 presentations in Florida. It's fun saying no. There are some people that can do it. You're absolutely right. If you can sit there and say no and hold your ground, it's a great way to get free perks. That said, the hard sell exists, and the way that the tactics that they use clearly work. And I would go so far as to say that every single timeshare owner that bought a timeshare probably walked into the sales presentation saying to themselves in their head, "I'm not going to buy a timeshare. This guy's not going to sell me a timeshare. I'm not interested in buying a timeshare. I just want the free gift," and then wound up buying a timeshare. So the pitches that they learn and that they are ingrained and they're taught are effective. And if they weren't, the timeshare industry wouldn't be able to sell $10+ billion a year in retail sales, despite all of the information that's out there, despite the giant black cloud that is a timeshare salesman in a timeshare sales office. They're still able to sell 10 billion plus a year in retail sales. Is just shows how effective the marketing is. So for those of you who my answer, I personally would never sign a contract for $20,000-$30,000 a lifetime engagement without being able to read the whole thing, about taking my time, not in the sales presentation, sitting there having to make a decision right then and there. That's ridiculous. However, it clearly is an effective strategy for the timeshare industry. I had a lot of lies today in Lakeshore Reserve. Uh, we hear it every day. The lies exist, the misleading statements exist. It is a regular occurrence. It's the industry publicly denounces it. You ask any CEO, you ask any timeshare, any executive at any timeshare level, even a sales manager. Oh no, we don't believe that at all. We have strict code of ethics and blah 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 blah. All everything about how we sell the right way, and but they also it's a very very cutthroat and high turnover job. Meaning, if you're not meeting your sales numbers, you're out the door. In many cases, you don't even have to get fired. If you're not making money since you're working on commission, you're going to go somewhere else. No one wants to sit in there if they're not making money. But when you incentivize the sales pitch and knowing that you're not going to get paid unless you get that person to sign on the dotted line, and then you get your commission, it is no surprise that many salesmen will exploit that and do anything that they feel is in their mind, even if they don't feel it in their mind, will do anything to get you to sign that. Will say anything to get you to sign right then and there, because they're not the ones that are going to answer the phone in 6 months when you're trying to book and you can, and they're not the ones that are going to you're going to be able to reach. They probably won't even work at that sales office anymore when you go to book your first timeshare sales timeshare week and realize that you were sold 80,000 points and the bare minimum to go anywhere is 100,000, or when you discover that what they sold you isn't what you bought. It's really the low light of so many timeshare and so many new timeshare owners' lives, and their timeshare lives anyway, is discovering that they were swindled, that they were misled, that what they bought and they were sold this beautiful family vacation, lifetime of memories, that you can go anywhere in the world, buy this and you could trade and go all over the world, and you would be foolish not to buy this and give these memories and give this wonderful vacation annually to your family. And that tugging on the heartstrings, it's an effective pitch because you simply can't believe that person is not maybe flat out lying to you, but is clearly stretching the truth to the point, knowing full well, that salesman knows full well that you buying this entry level package is not going to get you vacations wherever you want to go. You're not going to be able to go to Hawaii in the summertime. You're not going to be able to to go to Vail in Christmas. You're only going to be able to go to the week that you bought, which probably isn't even the week that you're there. It's some other low end week that and you become frustrated, but you don't discover that until it's far too late for you to do anything. And that's why all these sales pitches should provide far more information to the owner so that they know exactly what they're buying, not just what they think they're buying, because no one is going to read that gigantically thick sales document that's full of legalese and that's covering the timeshares. It's covering the timeshares, but it's not protecting you, the consumer, in any way, shape, or form. And they know full well you only have a few short days to cancel, and that the vast majority of people that sign, I think the statistic was, out of the 15% that buy a timeshare, almost 15% or 12% or something like that cancel. So almost 90% of the people that buy do not cancel that. And I'm sure someone somewhere will spin that into a marketing plaza. Look, 90% of the people that buy timeshares love it. And they don't cancel. Yeah, probably because they didn't know they could cancel and would love to cancel if they could, if that timeshare sales presentation or the timeshare rescission period was much, much longer. So 30, 60, or 90 days. But that's a story for another time. So what do we got? I got ushered out pretty quick when I say our last timeshare is free, so they can't match or beat that price. We were all ears. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would be my answer if I was, if I did get into a sales presentation and the person tried to pitch me, I would immediately go to resale. Tell me why I should buy your timeshare and why I should pay 20 grand for something that I can go buy on my own site or eBay or wherever for $1. Tell me, sell me on that. Give me and when they start talking about, well, you buy retail, you stripped all the rights for selling minutes. So then my answer to that is, well, so you're telling me that I pay $20,000 from you right now, and if I go to sell it, it's worth nothing because you strip all the rights from that person? Well, why would I do that? That's stupid. That's like telling me that I'm going to buy a new car and it's going to depreciate 100%. Okay, why would I not buy the used car? Well, yeah, it's not new. Well, no crap, but it's not 100% used. So those two tactics right there are tried and true. If someone asks me, how do I have to go to the sales presentation, or I have a struggle saying no, and for me, it's resale it's just no way to get around resale, because you have the 2 points. One, if the rights are the same, meaning if this retail and resale are the same thing, like they are at Marriott, or technically speaking, they are at Hilton, after you pay your dirtying, cleaning up the points fee. Same with Wyndham and so on and so forth. Yeah, there are slight things that they're off, but it's certainly not worth the difference in price. And if they can't sell me on that, or if it's a product like Diamond or Hilton Vacation Club, excuse me, where those are things are completely worthless on the resale market because of the rights that are stripped. No HGV Max when you sell on the resale market. You only trade within your collection if you happen to buy that. Well, why would I buy? Why am I paying you $20,000 for something that you're telling me right now is going to be worthless the moment I buy it? Because I can't sell it. Who wants to buy that with all of that stripped? So those two responses, there's really no answer for that. There's really no retort. No, and I'm sure that they have one. I have no doubt that there is something that they have been trained to reply to that exact thing. But any normal person, after you hopefully would be able to pick through the nonsense, because there's no legitimate response to that that would make anyone want to buy. But no doubt they make an effort. But just using those two tactics, if you are someone who can't say no or wants to send a sales presentation, resale. I always bring up resale right up top. Why should I buy this timeshare from you when I can buy it for 99% less, if not 100% less on Tug? We strip all these rights and buying resale is not the same. Okay, well, why would I buy this timeshare if you're telling me I can never sell it? Or when I sell it, it's going to be absolutely worthless. That sounds ridiculous to me. So those two things alone should move your presentation along, so to speak. We got ushered out pretty quick. Can't mean to make that. So true. Years ago, I learned years ago from Tug to get weeks from retirees instead of traveling instead of developers. I still don't believe in points because they can be devalued. That's true. The points are essentially vaporware. It is a fictional product that can be the number of points, while in many systems is fixed. Obviously, they can manipulate the value of those points or manipulate the value of the underlying weeks that those points get. So even though you have 150,000 points, and that will currently get me Christmas in Orlando, and let's just say that a couple of years that now goes up to 185,000 points or 200,000 points because they shift the season or they adjust that 2-bedroom that particular week that I want to go is now more, and now I can't get that because I only have 150,000 points. And now, so yes, there is a genuine concern that points can be devalued, or the point value that you have now, while it does get you what you want or get you where you want to go now, those values can change, and they do change, not on a yearly basis, but there is historical evidence and factual evidence that the points values change from resort to resort and week to week as season change and resorts change and new resorts come in like this. Who's going to say what that we just talked about, that new Hilton Grand Vacation Club's ownership? How many points is it going to take? Who's going to tell me now how many points it's going to take to stay in the summer at the new tower in Ocean 22? No one. Have no idea. Could be 12,000 points to stay at a 2-bedroom at that. You have no idea. And buying that, they'll probably sell it before it's even open. I'm sure they'll come out with the points charts for that. But if I were a Hilton Grand Vacation Club's owner and I bought at the 9,000 point level, which could be a platinum at some resorts, thinking that would get me just about anywhere, well, now I can't even stay in this new resort that they're building because I don't have enough points to stay in this new resort. So, the flip side of that is you get far more flexibility. You absolutely have the ability to go into more locations. You're not locked into what there's people today that still think timesharing is fixed week, is you're going to the same week at the same resort year in and year out. And people don't want that. At least the current generation of buyers don't want that. They want flexibility. They want to go to different locations, and points gives you the ability to do that. So as I've always said from the start, if you do your research and know what you're buying, there can be amazing deals out there, if not completely free, for buying points-based timeshares that will give you the flexibility to take some amazing vacations that you can't get any other way. That said, there are people that love those fixed weeks or love to stay at the same resort, if not the same week every year, love that resort and always can rely on going to vacation at that resort because it's familiar to them. They're happy there. Their family's happy there. It's easy to travel to. They can get flights there, drive there, whatever it happens to be. And thankfully, this industry exists where you can buy both. That said, fixed weeks aren't sold anymore. It's really relying on the resale market to get stuff like that. Floating weeks, for most parts, aren't really sold anymore. The entire industry is shifting to points. That's just the nature of the beast, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's easier to manage. It's easier to maintain. It provides the flexibility that today's modern buyer and the future modern buyers want. I don't want to say that fixed weeks are going the way of the dodo, but the writing is on the wall for that. So those who have fixed weeks, cherish them. Enjoy them. Maybe your kids probably might not want that because, again, this latest generation wants the flexibility, but there are pros and cons to both. And for those of you that love one, stick to those. The resale market is still the place to buy fixed weeks, and it's the place to buy points. So if anything, everything, we always focus on doing your research and getting the information that you need before you buy a timeshare, not afterwards. So rescission period shouldn't start until you get access to the reservation system. I agree. 100% agree that you should, your rescission period should be good until you book your first week. You log in and you go to book that. Once you book that first week, then in my opinion, you're locked in. You've made that vacation. You made that reservation. You clearly know what you bought. You do that. Then you can't cancel at that point. Now, I would be okay with a limit on that. Obviously, you can't wait till day 364 after buying to do that. But to give some sort of 30 days, or if you make your first reservation within something like that, something has got to be better than 3, 5, 7, 10 days, which is the vast majority of timeshare rescission periods, of state rescission periods for timeshares throughout the country. That's just not enough time. And they know full well that people are not going home, doing the research. They're not finding tug. They're not even reading their contract until they get home. And by that time, if not all, the vast majority of their time to rescind has passed just while they were sitting by the pool enjoying Mai Tais, being happy that they just bought this amazing timeshare vacation that they can now take their family on. And then after they get home, they maybe had 1 or 2 days, if that, to read the sales contract, to find something on tug and realize that they just made a really, really, really expensive mistake. And we see that every single day. It's very, very frustrating. So, that would speed the process for new accounts. Sure. The argument from the industry is that, that no other, what's the word I'm going to, no other product is sold that has that kind of cancellation period. Meaning you buy a car, you can't go back. You don't get to bring it back after 90 days if you don't like it. Now, there are lemon laws, of course, and that's my argument. You buy a home, you can't say, oops, I made a mistake. This is a bad neighborhood, or my neighbors suck. I didn't know that about that. So I can't back out of a home sale after 90 days. That said, if you didn't disclose that it flooded every September, I have recourse. There are provisions when buying things where the product was missold or the information wasn't divulged. The problem comes into the fact that how do you prove that? How do you prove that salesperson did lie to you without a recording, without something in writing that he signed that proves that? It just turns into a he said, she said. Now, I fully know that you were lied to. I fully know that he stretched the truth and misled you, because it happens. There's so many reports that say the exact same thing, but can you prove it? It's not about being right. It's what you can prove. And so are you willing to go to court when your argument is, well, that salesperson who probably doesn't even work there anymore, who even Wyndham or whatever company you bought from can just say, well, yeah, we found he was, not following our code of ethics. We fired him. We don't, and it makes perfect, because, we don't stand for that. We're up and up. We don't sell like that. And as soon as it was found he would do that, he was fired or terminated or whatever the case may be. But they're not going to admit any fault in your sales presentation, because, again, there's no proof. So that is why, in my opinion, there needs to be longer rescission periods for people in that situation. Now, I don't agree that you should be able to buy something and, feel you got a good deal, and then just later on down the line, I don't think I want this anymore. I'm having some buyer's remorse. That's a different situation than, hey, this guy told me I could go anywhere. This guy told me I could trade anywhere in the world. This guy told me that, we see this all the time where they're sold just the absolute bare minimum number of points, that $84,000 or $87,000 Wyndham points contractor, that $1,000 Marriott. Do they even sell abound contracts at $1,000? Marriott, $1,000 abound points, or just the absolute minimum they can sell, because that's the price point at which they had to drop it down to get that person to sign so they can get their commission. And then those people realize in 3 months or 6 months, when they try to make that reservation, that the points level that they have isn't going to get them anything. You can book absolutely nothing with that, and realizing that they needed twice the amount of points, or 3 times, or 5 times the amount of points just to go to that. What they probably showed them was this beautiful penthouse in Vail, or the Honolulu sunset in the middle of whale watching season, which would cost a ridiculously higher number of points than they had. But they're not going to tell them that. They're not going to go into that nuance during the sales presentation. They're just going to say, hey, you buy into this program. This is the sort of vacation that you can give your family. And that tugs on the heartstrings. And they clearly don't say that if you bought 9,000 more points, or if you spent 3 times what you're paying. But hey, you buy this point package right now, you can trade these points. Here's how the point system works. And they can explain it all without unraveling or unveiling the detail that the number of points you purchased isn't going to get any of that. And so that is the biggest frustration we see in this day and age is, people sold a bill of goods, assuming, then they're saying this, that they're going to be able to use the points package that they bought to take all of these amazing vacations, and finding out the number of points that they have extremely, if not, hamstrings their ability to reserve weeks within the system that are just not what they want, bottom mud weeks and off-season weeks at resorts they just don't want to go to because they didn't do their research ahead of time, and they just believe that salesperson, even though they might have not outright said it to their face, made them believe that whatever they were buying gave them access to these wonderful vacations that salesman knew 100% they had zero chance of booking at the points level that they bought into. So it's frustration. We got way off topic on that one, talking about sales presentations. But hey, we do wish more of you go to sales presentations and get the $350 Sphere tickets to see the Wizard of Oz. I want to go see the Wizard of Oz at Sphere. That sounds fantastic. I see a couple of videos of that. Saw the UFC fight. It's just some wild technology that system uses. Truly on my bucket list experience. Next time I go to Vegas, if I ever make it back out to Vegas, getting there. Turned 50 years old on Friday for Halloween. So Tug turned 32. I turned 50. So I'm not sure how many more chances I'm going to get to out of Vegas, but the Sphere is on my list, and I'm going to try and stay at Grand Chateau, see if I can get me some free tickets. But if you got to attend a sales presentation to get some free tickets to Sphere, it is what it is. If you do have to attend a sales presentation, come equipped with the facts. Be polite, be cordial, say no, never, ever, ever buy during a sales presentation. So happy birthday. Thank you so much, Diane. I appreciate it. It was a wonderful, wonderful day. Dad came up to trick or treat with me and the kids. So we dragged them all around and got the 5-gallon bucket. We literally filled an entire 5-gallon bucket of candy in our neighborhood. It was incredible. A couple of their friends from school came. It was awesome spending Thanksgiving. I'm getting ahead of myself. Spending Halloween trick or treating with my dad and my kids, and seeing how happy they were to see Grandpa, and being able to go around and visit all that, and they just had an absolute blast. So truly my idea of a wonderful birthday. It's crazy how the idea of your perfect birthday changes once you have kids. 20 years ago, my perfect birthday probably would not have been trick-or-treating. I'm sure it would have been fun, but probably not what I was looking for on a Friday night at 30. But happy birthday. Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate you. Here's to 50 more years. Maybe I'll be around. I'm truly hoping maybe my son will take it over from me when it comes that time. But he is 6, so probably got a few years left that I'll be doing this before maybe my son. Who knows what technology will exist and what we're looking at. 13 years, 18, 12 years, 18. Let's see what another decade. So I got another decade. I at least got to run things and keep things going. And who knows where we'll be in another 10 years. Maybe at that point, everyone will know that you shouldn't pay upfront fees to sell your timeshare, or get rid of your timeshare, or exit your timeshare, or rent your timeshare. And then the industry will have gone on the straight and narrow, and all salespeople will be honest, and the industry's up and up, and resale will merge into resale, and it'll be like selling cars. You'll have the new timeshare sales office, and then the resale timeshare sales office, where you can get a nice low mileage trade-in certified. We do certified used timeshares. I like that idea. It works for cars. It can work for timeshares. Maybe that'll be the new marketplace website. Is it certified used timeshares? Actually, like that. So you don't get a warranty, but they're certified to be exactly the same thing you bought directly from the resort. Like our Tug member, I think it's Alan, likes to say, no such thing as a new timeshare. The beds have all been slept in, the couches have all been sat on, showers have all been used, the refrigerators have all been utilized, ovens, cookware's all been used. So nothing new about any timeshare. The only thing new about it is the price you pay if you buy it from a sales presentation. So with that said, I was babbling for a long time, 53 minutes. This is one of our longer episodes. I appreciate each and every one of you. Looks like about a dozen of you stayed on this long. Thank you so much. I'm truly blessed that everyone wants to chit chat about timeshares and engage. We had an awesome back and forth. I love it when people ask questions. I love it when people engage and talk about the conversation. Truly the best part about this live episode that we do. So look forward to seeing each and every one of you next Tuesday. And I hope each and every one of you has an absolutely wonderful week, especially those of you currently on vacation. Claire, I hope you have a great week in Orlando. And everyone else, if you are somewhere where it's snowing and miserable right now, please stay warm. Please come to Florida for vacation. Enjoy your time. The weather is absolutely beautiful here. And if not, I will see each and every one of you next Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys, absolutely wonderful week. And hope you have a great timeshare vacation. Good evening.